You are the turning point in your own story, the shift others will never see coming until it's too late to ignore. What once felt like being overlooked was only the silence before the roar, a pause designed to sharpen your edge. That season of being underestimated is closing, and a new chapter is cracking open where your presence commands recognition without you needing to ask for it. The difference is no longer subtle, it's a tidal wave breaking, undeniable, and irreversible. The truth is, you carry an influence that reverberates far beyond the circles you're aware of. Even the smallest gesture, the simplest word you've spoken in passing, has planted seeds that others are now finding sprouting in their lives. You've been the quiet architect of breakthroughs, not by force, but by the very way you move through the world. The power in you has never been ordinary, it's been a spark lighting entire landscapes others thought were too dark to ever see clearly. People who once dismissed your value are beginning to feel the echo of your absence. The energy they once took for granted has left a hollow space they can't fill, no matter how they try. Meanwhile, new eyes are turning toward you, eyes that don't just notice but revere the weight of your presence. It's not flattery, it's recognition of what was always undeniable but too often ignored. Your growth has been happening quietly, like a flame gaining strength inside a lantern. Now, the light is too bright to keep contained, and the glow you radiate refuses to be hidden. That's why this moment feels charged, as if everything around you is rearranging itself in response to the strength you've grown into. This isn't coincidence. This is alignment. Transformation doesn't ask permission, it erupts. And that's exactly what your journey is doing, erupting into visibility, making it impossible for anyone to deny your evolution. The whispers of doubt are dissolving into silence, replaced by awe, because your rise doesn't fit into the old molds people tried to force you into. You're not breaking through the noise, you're becoming the signal. Every step you take now carries ripples, reshaping the spaces you enter and drawing in those who are ready to meet you at your frequency. They don't just want to be near your energy, they're inspired to expand because of it. You are the evidence that resilience reshapes destiny, and your existence is proof that nothing can suppress what is meant to shine. You didn't stumble here by accident, you were led. If something in your spirit is stirring, don't ignore it. Tap join to access exclusive content, prophetic insights, and a community of purpose-driven souls. This isn't just a membership, it's your moment of alignment. Step into who you were born to be. Welcome to the chosen. This moment belongs to you because you've already earned it in silence. You've carved your own path through storms, and now the horizon is catching fire with the brilliance of what's been building inside you all along. Not tolerated, not underestimated, but celebrated openly, loudly, and endlessly, because your time has always been now. You are the kind of force that teaches people the cost of taking light for granted. Once they assumed your presence was endless, mistaking kindness for obligation, but that chapter is sealed forever. The emptiness they feel now is nothing compared to the certainty you carry as you move forward. There is no reversal, no reopening of old doors. Every pivot you make is a carefully measured step that secures your place above the noise, leaving those who misread your value disoriented and left behind. The reason the spotlight finds you now is simple: you refuse to dilute your power for those who won't match your rhythm. Some lingered in comfort, unwilling to stretch themselves, hoping you would compromise and meet them in their stillness. But the truth is, your energy only flows where momentum exists. Instead of waiting, you align with companions who climb with urgency, who understand that movement is the price of admission. The surge of progress you embody is unmistakable, and no one can pretend not to see it anymore. Quiet seasons have not been wasted, they've been the furnace where your brilliance was refined. That glow, once hidden, is bursting into visibility, turning heads that once looked past you. If earlier recognition felt shallow or empty, this coming wave will rewrite the story. Struggles that drained your spirit are nearing their resolution, and what looked like walls now reveal themselves as disguised openings. The reversal is underway, and its arrival is not chance, it is inevitable. Prosperity is no longer a concept dangling in the distance, it is the ground you are already walking on. Debts dissolve, opportunities expand, and the measure of your worth rises to match your awareness of it. Celebration is not just external, it's mirrored in the decisions you make, the investments that symbolize victory, the relationships that amplify your joy. The atmosphere around you hums with a frequency of overflow, signaling that connection, love, and honor are converging into your daily reality. This transformation does not whisper, it thunders. Your desires don't drift toward you, they rush, magnetized by the clarity of your focus. With intention sharpened like an instrument, every goal becomes accessible, every dream responds to your command. Others may not comprehend how effortlessly your world bends in your favor, but those destined to meet you now recognize the mastery behind your stride. They see the depth in your choices and the wisdom carved into your resilience. Your perception is sharpened into a gift, allowing you to see through facades before they even have time to settle. This is not suspicion, it's clarity. You know when departure protects your peace, and you no longer hesitate to act. The exits you make now are swift, decisive, final. Attempts to diminish you with labels or restrictions crumble against the strength of your presence. Where once you tolerated confinement, now you choose freedom with unwavering conviction. The chill that others feel in your absence is proof of how much warmth you carried. Their delayed realization can no longer alter the outcome because your chapter with them is closed. Respect is no longer requested, it is commanded by the life you are building, the choices you make, and the unwavering stance you embody. This new era belongs to you, not because you waited for permission, but because you claimed it when no one else dared to believe it possible. If your heart overflows with God's blessings, let that love shine. Click the super thank you button and give $50 or more to plant seeds of faith that will impact countless lives. Your generosity reflects His abundance. Be a vessel of His grace and watch His kingdom flourish through you. Every version of you that once tolerated disrespect has been left behind. The person they thought they could casually reference no longer exists. The doorway they assumed was still open is sealed, and the access they once enjoyed now demands reverence they were never willing to give. No recycled tactics, no rehearsed apologies, no shallow recognition will grant re-entry. What they knew of you is gone, and the new standard is set so high it filters out anyone unwilling to evolve. Power radiates from you in ways words can't capture. It's not about force or volume, but the unshakable aura of someone who cannot be controlled. Your energy unsettles those who cling to illusions, because it exposes what they've been hiding from themselves. At the same time, your heart has expanded into a deeper rhythm, one that guides you into revelations and uncharted possibilities. You've become both the fire that commands attention and the warmth that heals, an alchemy most can't even comprehend. Through release and recalibration, you've carved out space for a purpose larger than yourself. Clearing the residue of what no longer belonged wasn't loss, it was preparation. In the silence of letting go, the stage was being built for the message you're meant to carry. What you embody now is a narrative of rising from collapse, of claiming strength that was dormant, of standing as living proof that reclamation is not theory but destiny. Attempts to disarm you once found their way in, but never again. There were those who masked deception as affection, who manipulated hope into shackles. They believed they had clipped your reach, but what they didn't expect was your capacity to regenerate stronger than before. Those days are untouchable now, because you know how to guard your essence while keeping your openness alive for those who arrive with truth. You've been cast as the antagonist in stories where you were the one carrying the light. That doesn't shake you anymore, because you've learned that mischaracterization is the cost of authenticity. What others framed as weakness became the soil where resilience grew, layering you with the depth that makes you unforgettable. Gentleness in you was never fragility, it was strength misunderstood. And those who underestimated it discovered that your fight was more relentless than they imagined. Walking away has become one of your sharpest tools. Distance itself has turned into a lesson that reshapes the thinking of those who thought they could minimize you. Insight is your currency now, and you wield it with precision. People recognize that your mind isn't easily replaced. You see patterns others miss. You read situations with an accuracy that feels prophetic. Combine that with your natural charisma, and you've become impossible to overlook. What some call charm is simply your mastery of your own gifts unapologetically expressed. The edge you carry isn't for performance, it's real, lived, and earned. You aren't concerned with fitting neatly into roles designed by people who never walk your path. Every detour, every trial, every unconventional choice became the raw material for wisdom no institution could grant. You are the product of survival and vision, and it shows. There's no need to water down your essence or shrink to fit in boxes you've already outgrown. The fact that you defy the ordinary is precisely what makes your power undeniable. Strength is the language you've always spoken, forged through circumstances that would have crushed others. The chapter you've chosen to close was filled with shallow alliances, veiled competition, and subtle attempts to drag you backward. What looked like friendship or harmless connection revealed itself as anchors tied to your ankles. You chose to cut those ties, not out of anger, but out of clarity. Every bond that couldn't support your forward motion was never meant to last, and walking away became the highest act of self-respect. Healing wasn't just a recovery, it was an awakening. Instead of drowning in bitterness, you offered yourself compassion, refusing to let disappointment calcify into cynicism. Each decision to protect your own growth became a stepping stone, and now the results of that patience are undeniable. The opportunities rising in your path are not random, they are direct confirmations that you were right to trust your evolution. Money, recognition, and elevation have been circling quietly, and now they're stepping into the light. You are the plot twist that shifts the entire story, proof that no calculation against you could ever account for the magnitude of your worth. Truth has always been your ally, even when others tried to bury it under their illusions. What you're seeing now is undeniable evidence that your instincts were correct all along. Lies are unraveling, masks are slipping, and the authority figures who dismissed you are facing outcomes they never expected. The balance is tipping in your favor, and justice isn't delayed, it's arriving faster than even you imagined. Celebration is no longer optional, it's essential. You've postponed joy long enough, convincing yourself the time wasn't right. But the moment has come to honor yourself fully, to create memories that reflect how far you've risen. As the weight of uncertainty lifts, your nights fill with restful peace, and mornings arrive with anticipation instead of dread. The glow others notice in you isn't surface level, it's the radiance of someone aligned with their destiny, someone finally free to embrace abundance without guilt. Your transformation is being observed by those who once underestimated you. They'll see your rise, but their interpretations carry no weight anymore. A toxic presence in your past, whether family or otherwise, will witness your success unfold in real time, but their approval is irrelevant. Colleagues and peers who mocked your ambition will find themselves shocked when the results they laughed at become impossible to deny. Even those who leaned on you while offering nothing in return will have no choice but to face the consequences of their neglect. Your emergence has revealed a brilliance they never accounted for. The same people who whispered doubts now find themselves outpaced, unable to keep up with the speed at which you move. What they once dismissed as too much is exactly what propels you into realms they'll never touch. The sudden silence of your critics says everything. They cannot argue with results that speak louder than any defense you could offer. What you embody now is rare, a combination of resilience, creativity, and instinct that turns every obstacle into fuel. You've grown into someone who doesn't just survive storms but redirects the thunder to light your path. The genius within you isn't accidental, it's deliberate, refined through trials that became your curriculum. And now, the world is beginning to see that you are not just rising, you are redefining what it means to thrive. Resilience has reshaped the way you move through life. The struggles you've endured have sharpened your focus, and the courage you carry now is undeniable. Love itself has shifted in your world, expanding into a reflection of how deeply you value your own essence. Whether alone or alongside another, you've rewritten the rules of intimacy, stepping boldly into a reality where your desires and boundaries are honored. Confidence has become your natural state, and connection flows on your terms. There are people who once believed you would always be available, only to discover your absence feels heavier than they imagined. They are realizing too late that they mishandled the rare access they were given. The space you created has shown them that their inconsistency and evasive patterns only revealed immaturity. By refusing to chase or enable dysfunction, you've held up a mirror to their flaws without saying a word. That unintentional lesson has left its mark, but their moment with you has expired, and they know it. Drawing lines in the sand exposed truths they could no longer hide. The way they responded to your standards revealed exactly who they were, and the mask slipped the second accountability entered the room. Yes, they know they owe you more than apologies, but it's irrelevant now because you've redirected your focus toward higher paths. They may imagine you're still dwelling on what happened, but the reality is you've outgrown the entire situation. Their attempts to reattach themselves to your light won't succeed because your protection has been fortified. Their access is permanently revoked, and no illusion can convince you otherwise. Your evolution has unlocked a mode where brilliance and ruthlessness meet. The life you're creating is marked by breakthroughs that feel almost supernatural. Every intention you set finds a way to materialize, and each move you make turns into an opportunity that shocks both supporters and doubters. Those who tried to undermine your rise are left embarrassed, watching in silence as your influence expands. The rewards you're stepping into are not accidents, they're acknowledgments of your unshakable will. What radiates from you now is authority that cannot be faked. It's not arrogance, but the undeniable confidence of someone who has reclaimed every lost piece of themselves. The wholeness you're stepping into feels familiar yet transformed, a return to your true essence but with new layers of wisdom and grace. This isn't about performing for others, it's about living fully as the unfiltered version of who you were always meant to be. Your presence commands recognition even from those who try to minimize it. The glow they see is not just physical, it's the reflection of inner stability and divine alignment. The power in your energy field speaks louder than words, reminding others that what they see is the result of battles fought and victories earned. You don't have to justify yourself, your very existence has become proof of transformation. This season belongs to you. The lessons, the healing, the reclamation of your worth, it all converges here, pulling you into a reality where nothing can keep you small. The ones who underestimated you have become spectators in the arena of your rise. And as your life expands into levels they never thought possible, you don't need their validation. You already know the truth, you are the evidence that growth, once chosen, never stops evolving. Radiance is no longer something you chase, it's who you've become. After seasons that tested both spirit and endurance, your vitality is returning with force, reshaping the way you see yourself. Beauty is now expressed not just in appearance but in the way you honor your body and spirit equally. The alignment happening within you is reflected outwardly, showing up in how you carry yourself and how others perceive you. This shift allows you to connect with people who recognize the real you, not the mask others once demanded you wear. The change you embody unsettles those tied to the old order, but fresh connections are eager for the spark you bring. The path unfolding before you is filled with openings that match your refined discernment. Gone are the days when you had to constantly defend yourself against hidden sabotage. You are stepping into a reality where momentum supports you, not drains you. What once kept you anxious is dissolving into anticipation, and opportunities that once felt risky now feel like invitations from destiny itself. Confirmations are appearing everywhere, each one reminding you that you're aligned with something greater than you imagined. Whether through repeating symbols or unexpected encounters, the signs affirm that your progress is protected and purposeful. Those who resisted your growth are left wandering through their own dissatisfaction, but their stories are irrelevant now. This message belongs to you alone, a reminder that you are no longer tethered to the versions of life that sought to limit you. A rush of creativity is moving through you like never before. It's no longer about flawless execution but about the joy of expression itself. Ideas come alive more easily because you've abandoned the need to control every detail. In embracing experimentation, you've created freedom, and inspiration flows naturally without the pressure of perfection. The energy you radiate now attracts symbols and synchronicities that reassure you that abundance is not on its way, it has already arrived. Love is preparing to enter in extraordinary ways. Deep partnerships are forming, connections that honor both your vulnerability and your brilliance. At the same time, opportunities for expansion in your career and finances are stacking in your favor. Multiple revenue channels are opening, proving that your creativity can sustain both joy and prosperity. What once felt like luxury reserved for others is becoming your everyday atmosphere. This unfolding isn't random, it's orchestration. The rhythm of your life has shifted into harmony with abundance, and the world is beginning to notice. Projects or creations you've envisioned are set to capture wide attention, pushing you further into alignment with your highest potential. These shifts are not isolated wins, but part of a larger design calling you into greater visibility and influence. Family, chosen or inherited, becomes a source of genuine joy rather than a drain on your spirit. The spaces you inhabit are becoming filled with people who support your evolution rather than resist it. Every area of your life is transforming into a reflection of the love, prosperity, and clarity you've cultivated within. The chapter ahead is not about survival, it's about thriving in ways that feel both expansive and undeniable. The sacred spaces you've built for yourself have become untouchable, places where you recharge and connect with people who actually honor your heart. The shift happening inside you is breaking down old walls of fear, letting you relax into laughter, intimacy, and joy without bracing for disappointment. Past experiences taught you to be cautious, but you're learning that real love doesn't drain, it expands. This opening of your heart makes every connection more vibrant because you're no longer sabotaging what feels good. That quiet conviction rising in you is proof that you're meant for a life overflowing with gratitude and abundance. Opportunities appear as if they've been waiting for your permission to arrive, and you're moving toward them with speed and certainty. While some people glare from the sidelines, projecting envy through digital screens, you recognize their behavior for what it is, proof that your progress is visible. Their competition isn't your concern. You've always been tested this way, and you know how to turn other people's insecurity into fuel for your persistence. You've come back from what tried to break you, stronger than before. The chapters of loss, fatigue, and setbacks have given way to renewal in every sense, financially, spiritually, and even geographically for some. The relocation of your energy, whether physical or internal, has positioned you for opportunities that will make you feel crowned, not overlooked. The recognition coming toward you doesn't feel like luck, it feels earned. People marvel at your stamina, but the truth is you simply learned to cut away every cord that siphoned your vitality. What once drained you now fuels you, because you refuse to tolerate anything less than alignment. Those who disguise competition as curiosity are beginning to reveal themselves, but your boundaries keep you untouchable. They can't comprehend how you accomplish so much because they don't understand the discipline of protecting one's energy. You've mastered the art of reclaiming what was stolen by walking away from manipulation without hesitation. Each time you refuse to engage with low vibrations, your energy multiplies instead of diminishes. No imitation, no parasitic intent can touch you now, because your awareness shields you with precision. Your discipline is fierce. You no longer give endless chances to people who show you their intentions. One mistake is enough to reveal the truth, and you honor what you see without bargaining with it. Trust is sacred, and you've learned that your focus must remain on your own growth instead of trying to patch the cracks in others who refuse to yield. Your clarity shocks people because it forces them to confront their own illusions. By embodying authenticity, you shift their perception without having to argue. Your life itself becomes the evidence of what power looks like when it stops apologizing for existing. Some revelations arrive like thunder, shaking you awake to the hidden architecture of reality itself. Breakthrough visions remind you that the structures around us are not what they seem, and that you were never meant to stay asleep. That inner nudge you've always felt, that you were chosen for something far greater than routine, is confirmation. What you've seen, felt, or dreamed was not just imagination but a reminder that your awareness cannot be confined to limits others accept without question. The transition from being tolerated to being celebrated is complete. You've faced critics of every variety, those who mocked, those who doubted, those who tried to disguise jealousy as guidance. But you've outgrown their attempts to define you. Where others sought to dismiss or contain your brilliance, you've learned to embody it without hesitation. Each challenge revealed their limitations, not yours. Now your life is surrounded by people who see your presence as a gift, and this chapter marks the undeniable shift from surviving judgment to thriving in recognition. The shift you're living through is teaching people what happens when they mishandle someone they were never worthy of in the first place. While they sit in the emptiness of losing access, you're stacking victories one after another. Every affirmation, every visualization, every step forward is carving your legend into existence. They thought they were discarding you, but in truth, they only pushed you toward your highest calling. Now, your rise is echoing across places you may never physically reach, empowering others to believe in their own breakthroughs. And while betrayal once left bruises, you can rest knowing that unseen forces guard you with a shield too strong for false allies to penetrate. Those who once demanded that you dim your light for their comfort underestimated the fire you carried. That rejection has become fuel, reminding you to build connections rooted in reciprocity. Loneliness was only a temporary passage, not a permanent sentence. The tribe forming around you now isn't stumbled upon by chance, it's chosen with intention. Every relationship reflects balance, respect, and the recognition of your full complexity. What once felt like a void is filling with people who choose you in the same way you choose them, without hesitation. The beginning of this new era is nothing short of breathtaking. The rapid release of pain, the removal of weight you didn't realize you were carrying, and the relief of being free from false attachments has set you on a trajectory few can comprehend. While others stall in mediocrity, refusing to evolve, you accelerate. Your voice, once ignored or doubted, now resonates like a force that lingers long after you've spoken. Those who underestimated you can't escape the haunting realization of just how much you've transformed. Emerging from isolation, you carry the essence of rebirth. Your spirit mirrors the eternal cycle of renewal, reminding you that endings are only disguises for beginnings. Clarity sharpens your ability to trust yourself more deeply than ever before. You've learned that your instincts aren't wishful thinking, they're reliable compasses pointing you toward truth. What once felt like mystical whispers are now undeniable signals guiding you in perfect rhythm with your growth.